Welcome everyone to Spilling the Tea with Estee and Marlene, where we serve the hottest tea. Join me and my baby stripper voice.
And me welcoming you all to eavesdrop onto our uncensored opinions. This platform is used to inform, laugh, and potentially inspire others to speak out about things we may all be thinking about but are too afraid to say out loud.
And don't forget, babes, if the shoe fits, wear it.
Welcome, guys, to Spilling the Tea with Estee and Marlene. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm Estee.
And I was like, I'm Marlene. Okay, Marlene.
I wanted to shout out everybody that has interacted with us from our last episodes.
Yeah.
Because one, it's great to have interaction with you guys. Two, if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, please go back.
So episode 49
and 50.
and 50.
Yeah. And three, like, apologies are not weak.
They're not.
They're needed.
When they're heartfelt.
When they're heartfelt. And they're genuine. And we recognize our wrongs.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. You want to see any little feedback you've gotten?
I
feel like you have become the new single
guru.
I
am like the spokesperson for the singles. But
yes.
It's like, I hope you guys don't want me to do anything because I'm not. Like, like I'm not gonna leave my house and like do a protest.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, what I want to say is that no, everybody has been very supportive of both parties. Like nobody has ever been like, "Fuck that bitch that you co-host with."
Fuck them too.
Nobody has ever said that. People have just said like, "Oh, like things were like like not meant in like malice, but like people understood both sides." And I was like, "Yeah, I get it." So it was not like a bashing of anybody. It was a very mature conversation, which I didn't know our audience was mature.
Look at you. I was gonna say is, I feel like people identify themselves with us.
Yeah.
With a person that is single and is not settling down or just isn't interacting with the dating scene right now. And then also with me, like a person that's in a couple that just wants their friend to be in a couple, in a happy situation.
In a good couple,
I was gonna say in a good situation because I don't want him to be in no crazy likeness that I gotta go and like slash some tires. Like,
but when I tell you, like, I know so many people who are just tired of the dating scene. Like there were so many people that are just taking a huge break.
And it's okay.
And they're like not even prioritizing it. Some people got like the little booty call like on the side
that's okay.
They call every 2 weeks, come do your job and be out. And then some people are just doing it cold turkey. And it's like more people than not. But I think maybe a lot of people are not as like open and honest as like I am of like fuck these guys.
I feel like depending on what crowd you're in, some people may not feel as vocal to stand up to comments that may trigger them, like you did.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm here for you guys.
But talking about apologies, I've had a week.
Yeah, I came in and I got like a whole debrief of like, this is what we're talking about. I have shit to say. I was like, okay, I'm here.
I went to Soul Cycle on Thursday and I was like, I was working out. She was telling us to do all this other shit, this, that, and the third. And then I was like, I know what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about what the fuck is going on with my life right now. Mm-hmm. And one thing, a constant like topic or theme is apologies for me at the very moment. And also it's like when to be accountable to give an apology, and also when is it's okay to receive an apology too. Mm-hmm. So one thing I said the other day on my Instagram post is like, an apology doesn't make you weak. An apology doesn't make you less than.
No. And to add to that, a conversation does not mean a confrontation.
A conversation does not mean confrontation. I love that. Because
like we speak and it's not like you boo bitch.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, like that wasn't cool, and vice versa. We've had those many times. It's not like it was like our first one ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, apologies does not make you weak. But I feel like you should mean your apologies.
Sometimes, like, and with my partner, I might be like, yeah, I'm sorry, like, and he definitely knows when I don't mean that shit.
Yeah. I used to be horrible at apologies.
I'm not great at apologies. I'm not gonna lie.
I used to be so bad that I used to just like flip it. And I became so good at that game that I would have people apologizing to me.
Sir, that sounds like a mass manipulator.
Yeah, it is. The worst apology I've ever gave was I told somebody, I am so sorry what I said hurt you.
Okay.
And I was like, but you need to look within yourself to figure out that why
I
it
said
triggered you because those were just words that I said.
I see.
Yeah, and then I think they went and got help and they apologized to me.
Well,
I did a good
I
deed.
mean, you led them to the therapy
Yeah,
of why those words were triggering, but you still could have apologized for how it made them feel.
I did.
Yeah.
I said, I'm sorry.
Genuinely.
The question is, I did apologize for hurting their feelings. And I give them a tip. Look inward, babe.
A reason why all of this was a theme is because I had a little family confuffle, let's say. I'm not trying to put my family's business out there, so I'm going to keep it brief. But I had a mirror within my parent. And I noticed that like she just like did not even want to recognize anything that we were telling her that was wrong. Nothing. Mm-hmm. No accountability. Nothing. She just like flipped it like you. Mm-hmm. She was like, oh, like you guys should be happy that I did this and that. And in turn, that's why I took that action. And I'm just like, I just like was just listening because you know Dominican loves a WhatsApp voice note.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, like I don't want to be that person. So it just made me think about like, you know, I have to be a better person.
Yeah.
Like I have to recognize if I hurt people's feelings.
Yeah.
And I know me precisely, I am a very blunt and direct person. Doesn't mean necessarily that I need to be rude when I say it. Just because I want to be honest, I don't need to be rude. Because I know that has been an issue in the past for me. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, wow, like listening to my parent, it just made me like look very much inward. Also, it made me think about emotionally unavailable parents. Mm-hmm. And I just was like, wow, like they cannot say I'm sorry ever. I don't think I've ever heard that from either parent. I think I addressed my dad one time and he was like, oh, that's like the best I could do with the cards that I have dealt with. Mm-hmm. Like, have you ever heard of your mom say I'm sorry?
No, and if she says it, she doesn't mean it. Or if she semi-means it, it always comes with a but as to why it was my fault in the first place. And I pick my battles.
I feel like you do pick your battles because I feel like in a sense, like we know who our parents are and we just like brush it off. Yeah. But sometimes it just be that one thing that we're like, nah, we gotta get them together.
And bitch, I'm coming for war. Once I pick the battle that I'm gonna die on, I am bringing a whole army.
You do though.
I am.
You're like, I'm ready. Mm-hmm. So just not recognizing feelings and emotions of your children as parents, I just feel like that has been like trickled into our generation. And I also realized that like our generation carries a lot.
They do.
Like we have to.
But our generation is like usually the generation that's breaking all the cycles.
Yeah, but that's just a lot.
Like our parents are all, product of their environment. Mm-hmm. And they don't know any better. And then we're actually trying to be better.
They don't know any better, but I feel like they know. Because I feel like in this instance that had like just triggered me this week was like, you knew that you caused hurt on someone else, but you just are deciding to like brush it off, the hurt. And I'm like, you could be a better person. You know what I told my parent? I said, you are the matriarch of this family. You're not a kid. You can lead.
Yeah.
You don't need to respond to every little thing. That's one thing I learned. Like, you don't need to respond to every little single thing that somebody wants to jab at you.
Yeah. You know what just irks me now that we're talking about that? My parent does not know how to argue. So they'll just put things from all over of like this, and that's her argument. And like I said, I'm coming for war. I'm stocked on receipts. I'm stocked on like proof. Like what is it? From Salt Lake City, receipts, proof, timeline.
Yeah.
Like I'm stocked. I'm ready to go. And when you're poking this, and that, it's just like, no. That's why I choose my battles, because it's a battle I'm not losing. Once I choose a battle, like I'm not losing.
Also, I feel like you hurt her feelings in a way.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, when you're coming for war, you're ready.
I do. I do hurt feelings.
But I feel like at that point, ya como que she's asking for it because.
And once I get there, you ask for it.
Yeah. I just feel like our parents, sometimes they don't live outside of their own heads. Like whatever's going on is like, oh, pero okay. It's just crazy to me. Like, you're just only you're only like thinking about your feelings. What about the other person's feelings? So also another trait that like I can see within that generation that can easily trickle into our generation and your children are being defensive. And then they can't simply identify what triggers others. Because I feel like once, for me personally, like my family members, I know what not to say and what to say. Because some things are just trickles and triggers somebody to just go off. So I feel like they don't really know.
They do. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they do. I'm like they do.
They do.
Also, one thing I did notice is we don't fucking owe our parents nothing. We didn't ask to be born.
Oh, I love saying that.
Like when my mom, her favorite line is "Para qué parí?"
Yeah, and I always say I didn't ask to be here.
And I'm like, because usted quiso.
Yeah.
Usted quiso tenerme. Usted quería coger ese gusto. And then I came. So, ma'am, what can I do? Just be here.
What was the saying that your sister said?
Oh,
Sazonó la creta?
yo, she had me dying. She sent a voice note and she was like, Diablo, ya me sazonó la creta. Like, I was like,
Like, what does that mean?
that means like
You got me fucked up.
You got me fucked up and you got me worked up. Like, now you're about to like get the truth. And I was just, when she sent that voice note, first of all, that shit made me laugh so hard. The way she's just like, I know that I'm animated, but that bitch is animated.
Yeah.
Like, it's on another level. So it just made me laugh so hard. And I really needed that laugh because it was a hard day.
But the thing is that she was like so serious.
She was so serious.
Like, she was so dead ass.
She was like,
she wasn't even trying to be funny.
She's like, me sazonó la creta. We about to go.
Yeah. And listen, sometimes they do. Well, what I did want to say was, because we had this conversation off camera, but we can't give too many details.
Yeah.
But what I said, talking about apologies, when somebody like tells you something out of pocket, like let's say for example, like I don't really fuck with you, and they really mean it, I feel like I can respect that. I can be like, all right, girl, you don't fuck with me. Like,
now I know my place.
Like, now I know a place. Like, you don't fuck with... I don't fuck with you either.
So then we know what's up.
But I hate when people say things that they don't mean to actively hurt you. And then they apologize like, oh, I said that out of spite. And it's like...
But why did you say it in the first place?
Because you said it because you knew that you were going to hurt me. So, like, that was more calculated of you saying that versus you just saying you just truly don't fuck with me. And when people give those apologies, like, I always just think, like, save your bum-ass apology.
I don't need it. I mean, I do feel that it's true. That means that was a thought in your mind. And you just said it because you wanted to hurt me. You wanted to throw in the knife and then turn it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really care about me, you shouldn't say things just to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, we have to, as humans, if you want to be a better human, because there's people that don't want to be better humans. Some people just want to be shitty people, and that's fine.
Yeah, I know a couple.
Yeah. But if you want to be a better human, you know not to say, I don't, like, if that's going to trigger me, not to say that. If you feel that you really have, if me and you really have a friendship or a relationship or whatever it is, you wouldn't do that because you know that you don't want to hurt this person at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. Like, people need to be very much aware of, like, saying shit that doesn't hurt other people.
Yeah. Another thing with, like, parents is that, like, when you draw boundaries and then you, like, stand on them, they're like, oh, we can't talk to you. You cannot.
Oh.
Like, they'll say something.
He's like, oh, you always have an attitude. Tú siempre tienes una actitud.
Sí.
And I'm like, where I come from.
Or, like, if they'll say something that, like, just irks you and then, like, you make it known, like, stop. Like, don't bring that up. Like, let's say, for example, like, if my family was to constantly be like, where your man at? And I was to be like, leave me the fuck alone.
They'll be like, ay, pero
They're
¿por
gonna
qué
be
tú no tienes
like,
actitud?
they're gonna be like, ay, pero no se le puede. You can't. You cannot talk to me. And that's what it is.
And that's okay. Like, people, and this episode is, now that we're going into the holiday season, this one is for you guys. If you guys have a hard boundary, if la tia's asking about the boyfriend, if la tia's asking you about your deadbeat father, if your tia's asking you about your job.
Get a new tia, because my tias don't ask me about my deadbeat father.
But if they know that these are sensitive topics, why are you not going to be self-aware to bring it up on the... Why are you going to bring it up?
Yeah. These older people, they just feel like I can say I can say whatever I want because I'm, like, this old. And it's like, okay, I can also say what I want.
Yeah. Like, the other day, my mom said some shit. I'm not going to say it here, but she was like, oh, that doesn't make you a full woman. And I was just like, well, that's what you believe in your heart, sweetie. Mm-hmm. And she just looked at me, and I was like, mm-hmm. I was like, we're going to keep it cute.
Do you ever feel like when you're arguing with just not even your mom, like your family, just with people, mm-hmm. like, when is the line of, like, this is the high road? When do I take the expressway to the low?
I don't know. I just feel like one thing that irks me precisely, and I'm going to use my family as an example, is when and this is for all the mothers. Please don't fucking do this to your kids. Mm-hmm. If your kid resembles the partner that you made them with, the child's father, ex-husband, whatever, don't say like, oh, you're just like this, like your father. When she says those type of things, oh, baby. I just was like, bueno, I just look just like my father, or I act just like my father.
And it's always like the most, like, savage, you just a criminal like your dad. Like, mom, like, you married the criminal, bitch.
Yeah,
like,
it was like, she's like, oh, you have such an attitude just like your father or whatever. And I was like, pues no es actitud tanto, que usted estaba con él por 17 años ahí cogiendo gusto. Y like,
sazonada.
I was like, sazonando secreta. Like, dime, like, no, like, you were with him for 17 years. He was not that much of a big deal, or an attitude, or he didn't, or whatever it was. He wasn't that much of a big deal that you was with him for so long.
Yeah.
He was not that big of a deal that you decided to lay up with this man, and this happened. So those are the type of things that trigger me, because I'm just like, let's not talk negative about each other. Like, I love both of my parents. They're both contributed to who I am now, and I wouldn't want somebody to talk negatively about you. Mm-hmm. So that's one of, and that has been since young. Because I remember when I was like 14, I remember the lights were on and they were getting a divorce, but we were still living in the same building. Mm-hmm. And me and my sister and her were living in the apartment that we had shared with him. And I had turned off the lights. And I was like, she's like, why you turned off the light? And I'm like, oh, because Papi said that the Con Edison bill was high. Yo, she slapped me. She slapped me so hard.
That is a level of petty. She said, you will not save that man any fucking money.
Yo, she slapped me, and I was just like, I thought I was here doing a good deed.
She said, you're not going to save that man a fucking court. She's like, I keep these lights on to
She
keep
was
him in
like,
la
mira,
ruina.
coño, ¿desde cuándo te importa eso? And I was just like, bro, he just was complaining about the Con Edison bill. Like,
She said, you're not going to save him a penny.
so that's like one thing that like really just irks me. Like, just don't talk about each other. Like, I would never do that to my kid, my future kid.
Yeah, me either. I didn't grow up like that.
What's one thing that just like drives you to like, all right, like Adriana, we're about to go. One thing, because I think we could be here all day.
This would be like Risa Tisa, like who the fuck did it marry 50 parts, like 50-part episode. One thing that irks me about my mother is that I have, like I said, I have a long line. I have patience.
You do.
And
Thank God for you.
my mom is the type that she would throw like little daggers. And she would just like poke, poke, poke. And I'm trying to take that. This is when I was asking, like, I'm taking the high road. I am driving on the high road. And I just see like pokes coming at me and I'm dodging and I'm trying to be cute. And there are times that like she'll just keep poking. And I take the expressway down to the lower level. Because like, what's her name from Candy? She said, I am not Michelle Obama.
I will go.
She goes like she goes, when they go low, I'm going lower. And that is my motto. You go low, I am going straight to fucking hell. So there is times that I have been like, I'm going down. I'm taking that expressway down to a lower level.
Dike hits ding.
And then once I get to that point, I'm ready to fight. Like I said, I have all my shit together. Like, let's fucking go. And then once I'm ready to fucking go, she'll be like, I don't want to talk about this no more. We're going to talk about it because I fucking said so. Because you pushed me to this level, and now we're going to talk about it.
Usted estaba puyando y puyando
and then
y
she'll make
puyando.
herself the victim of like this and that. And I was like, you're not.
Oh, when you talk back, it's like, la malcriada, el malcriado.
Yeah.
How dare you talk to me
And
that
I'm
way?
like, that's how you raise me. Because that's when I get ignorant too. Yeah. She does that and I get really irritated and I really, really work hard to like not get there. But like I've been down there a couple times.
A few times.
I've been there. I know how. I've been there.
I just noticed that like with my dad is not like that. Like my dad is just very like, we're not gonna like upset each other. Like, why are we doing this? I looked at my dad all the time and I'm like, how you got with this crazy bitch? Because and for 17 years I was just like, he's like, oh, like whenever we used to argue, like, or like she used to be upset, I just used to take a walk around the block.
Oh, that would piss me off.
And he used to tell me that all the time. He's like, when you and your mom, when I was a teenager, he's like, when you and your mom just like argue or like something happens, he's like, just go take a walk.
No, because then I'm what you know what I'm doing in that walk? Gathering fucking information. I am sorting receipts. I am fixing everything. So when I come back from my walk, then it's fucking war time. I'm already in the lower level.
Because that's not the point.
Well, that's why I don't take a walk.
He's like, take a walk, relax.
I can take a walk, but like once you get me to a certain level, like we're not taking a walk.
We're gonna take a skip or jump.
No, I remember one of the
We're
times.
gonna play dodgeball.
I remember one time. I don't know if I said this story in the podcast, so I'm not gonna give like full details. So I'm gonna make it very brief. I was friends with this one person, and this was like many years ago, and we got to a point that like we were just like not agreeing on just anything. And you know, again, I had my patience. I was really trying to like be cool, cordial, and this person was just like adding fuel to the fire.
Aye.
And then I was like, you know what? I have a fucking little detour. I'm going down, this and that. And then once I go down, I can't do that with my family because it's family.
Yeah.
But when it came to a friend, I was like, I'm going down and I am blowing this friendship over. Like, I am not leaving, like, what is it?
Any crumbs?
Leaving no crumbs, or what's the other saying of, leave the bridge or...
No bridge. Don't leave the bridge standing. You're like burning the bridge.
Oh, it's burning, like it's being blown up, like bomb, like atomic, like World War III. When I tell you, I stayed quiet for like 3 minutes while this bitch blabbed on. And I was just there like calculating. I was just like, all right, this. And then once I hit her with like all the shit, friendship over. Like there is no way we could ever talk again. I don't feel bad.
I mean, I feel like some friendships there just need to end, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I blew her whole life up.
I hope you didn't mention her mom.
I didn't mention her mom, but I did mention that she was a whore. And I did mention that she cheated on her partner with a couple of people. And I provided names. And I said other stuff.
You took me out with just that.
When I tell you, we would never be friends. Because there's not even anything to rebuild the bridge.
There is no solid concrete to build a bridge.
No, it's all sand. With big ass ocean.
Got it.
Don't take me there.
But I want to point something out.
I also didn't apologize because I was not sorry.
I mean, and that's what we're going back to. Like, if your apology is not genuine, then then don't apologize. Stand on business. If you said what you're gonna say when you were hurt, don't come over here apologizing. Like, unless like you really mean it, like it's a really heartfelt thing, then great. But if you meant that shit, then stand on business.
Yeah. Well, speaking of standing up, I've always been this way. I remember when I was...
Make it even when you were small.
I remember this one time. If people from high school watch this, they're gonna know what I'm talking about. There was this lady at our high school.
Okay.
And she was a fucking bitch.
Okay.
Her name was Vicky. And,
Damn, you.
Well, there's so many bitches named Vicky.
Okay.
Her name was Vicky, and she was rude. She was nasty. She would always yell at people. And she worked at like the school cafeteria. That's where we all walked in. And I remember, I'm very big on respect.
Me too.
So I remember I walked in, I had a Snapple, I was already late. And then she goes like, you can't bring that upstairs because it's glass. She goes, you gotta throw it out. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna throw it out because I bought it. I paid for it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll drink it. I'm already late. I've never really been into like academics, so I really didn't care about school. So I was like, whatever, like I don't care about missing a class, thank God. So I sat at the lunch table, drinking my drink, like having I saw people coming in, I was saying hi, like I was like, doing my thing. And then she was saying like, you need to drink. Then I was like, whatever, Vicky, like shut up, like leave me alone.
Like why you on my dick?
Like, yeah, like leave me alone, like mind your business.
Yeah.
And again, high road. I was just drinking my juice. I was talking to people.
You was trying.
I was that. And then Vicky comes as I have my drink and she snatches it. She goes like, enough, you have to get to class. But she's yelling and she threw the Snapple in the trash. A mí me dio una fucking iria. I looked.
Iria is what?
Iria is like you got furious, like anger. And I looked at her and I was like, don't touch my shit, Vicky. I was like, who the fuck do you think you are? I was like, let's call it for what it is. I was like 16. I was like, let's call it for what it is, Vicky. You swear you're a fucking dean in this school and you work at the fucking lunchroom. I was like, you staple papers. You're not a fucking dean. I was like, don't do that. I was like, don't give yourself a bigger title than you are. I was like, go staple the papers and don't ever talk to me.
What she said?
She said I was rude, I was nasty, and I was like, I am rude and I am nasty. And
you didn't have to touch on another person's property.
Yeah, and I was like, I am rude, I am nasty, and you're still gonna staple these papers.
I feel your anger right now.
Yeah, I was like, bitch. So then, obviously, I got sent to the real dean because Vicky was not a dean.
Yeah.
I got sent to the actual dean, and I called my mom. And my mom came and she was like, what's wrong? And then I told her and she was like, why are you so rude? Like, why you have such an attitude? So I was like, whatever, girl. Like, that's always my thing. Like, when parents never have your back, it's always like you're the one the wrong. So I was like, whatever, girl. Like, I got my own back. So I'm in the dean's office, and Vicky came in after talking to the dean and the principal, and they were like, so you really hurt her feelings. It was really like not nice what you said, and I was like, it wasn't. It was not nice.
It was not meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be. No,
Yeah.
I meant I said
You
it.
said what you said.
And they were like, if you apologize to her because you have like good grades, like you don't really get in trouble, they're like, we would just give you detention, and it's not gonna go on your record. And they were like, if you don't apologize, we're gonna be forced to give you suspension, and it's gonna go on your record, blah blah, this and that.
They always say that shit.
They always said that shit. So then I was like, first of all, what fucking record?
Yeah.
So then I looked at the dean, I looked at the principal, I looked at fucking Vicky, and I said,
fuck that bitch. No.
I was like, I would not issue Vicky an apology because I am not sorry that I said that because she still staples papers. And I was like, I would gladly take suspension and I would gladly take it on my record, wherever that means. And I was suspended for 3 days because I stood on business.
I mean, and she kept stapling.
And she still stapled papers for the rest of the school year. But when I tell you, she never spoke to me again. She never bothered me again.
Yeah.
And she still stapled her fucking papers. You know, sometimes you gotta go low. I am big on like, there's no other choice. Go to the lower level. It feels really good.
I feel like I'm really like triggered and pushed when I have to go low. Cause usually like.
Yeah, I don't go there like automatically.
Yeah,
but
like usually like I just simmer.
Yeah.
Tranquila. Don't answer. Like it's not worth it. Like you're not worth it. But when I go like low, it's just because ya no me la aguanta. No me la aguanta. You want to be dragged. I'm going to drag you.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that you're going to fucking clean my floors. Like that's how much I'm going to drag you.
Yeah, I agree.
Fuck that.
And one thing I will always have my friends back in public.
Yeah.
Like if you drag a bitch for no reason, I would be like, and she deserved it.
For no reason.
And for no reason. And then they'd probably be like, Marlene, what the fuck? Like, what that girl do to you? But one thing we're going to do is that we're going to provide a uniter front.
Exactly. Not like your mom.
Not like my mom.
What I wanted to say, though, is all of that. No, what I wanted to say earlier before your story. Sorry.
Well, we like segue into
Yeah.
Vicky stapling her fucking papers. She kept staples in business with her look.
Is what you said. Because of everything, our parents, sometimes they're not emotionally available. Sometimes they don't know how to be. They've been through their own traumas.
They also think they are.
They also think that they're always right. That we as their children are always wrong, or we always need to respect them.
Yeah.
And they never want to be told about themselves. But our generation, between our generation and then our parents, there is a big gap. We have so much that relies on us. Like, we literally have to
become their parents.
But also we have to first recognize that our family dynamics aren't healthy. That it's not the correct way. It's just that the way that we've been accustomed to for so long, because that's what they learned, and so on, so on, so on. One. Then we have to work on ourselves and put it into practice. Then we literally have to either teach our parents to the new way of life, or the new way, or the healthier way, so they can have communication with us, or have a healthier relationship with us. Or you have to have a relationship with your parent, and if they don't want to change, or they don't want to recognize that this is unhealthy,
you have to take it for what it is.
You have to take it for what it is, and you also have to have boundaries.
Yeah. And you also need to be forgiving of yourself.
Yeah.
When you make a mistake and you hit the lower level like we do.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like really hard on myself, and I'm just like, you know what, bitch, like.
You know what? They deserve that.
You did your best.
Yeah, you did your best. You did deserve that.
But yeah, like sometimes I'm just like my mom, she just like did not want to recognize what she did, and I was just like, she was like, oh, I didn't even listen to your voice note. So you know what I did?
I sent her.
I was like, oh, you deleted it? I'm gonna resend it. And she's like, she just didn't even answer me after that, and I was like, okay.
And if we lived in the same house, I would play it on the speaker. Yo,
one time she was acting up, and I was already older, And she's like, porque si tú no quieres seguir estas reglas, tú no tienes que vivir aquí. And I was like, bueno. And ya, like, I had already gone into, like, a legal field. And I was like, bueno, mi amor, si usted no sabía, yo soy un tenant aquí. Yo he estado viviendo aquí más de 30 días. Yo recibo mail aquí. So, si usted quiere que yo me vaya de aquí, usted me tiene que llevar a la corte de la... You need to take me to housing court. She didn't even know what to respond.
You see, I have a really dark, petty side to me, too, that I don't like to access. But when I was, like, maybe, like, 17, my mom took my cell phone away because she took it away. And then I was like, and she's like, I'm not going to give it back to you till I feel like it because blah, blah. And I was like, you know what, sis? I work. Or maybe I was like 18. And she took my phone away. And I was like, sis, I work. I'm going to go get me a cell phone. So I went and I got me a cell phone. And I came in like...
Con el teléfono.
Con el teléfono. She was like, whose phone is that? And I was like, it's mine. It's under my name. I pay for it. You have no ownership of it. And then once we stopped beefing, she was like, oh, like, let me get your number. And I was like, I'm not going to give you a number. I was like, you don't get to call me. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, you don't get to call my cellular line that I pay for. So I get to choose who I want to speak to, and you're not one of them. And I didn't give her my number for like 4 or 5 months.
And then you felt better.
And she got it from someone else, and then I was like, whatever, you can call me. But I really was like...
Standing on business.
I was like, you know what, sis? Like, you do not get to call me. I don't want to have children because I have really been a crazy child.
I want to have one, but I know that child is just going to have this one lip. Like, who the fuck comes up with, I'm a tenant, and if you want to take me out, you need to go to housing court?
That's a good one. I'm going to use that if I ever need to.
She was mad because I didn't mop or something that day.
That's the best part. Bueno, mi amor.
I was like, bueno, mi amor, si usted no sabía, yo soy un tenant.
Pero mi amor, and roll the R's. Pero mi amor.
Mire, more, yo soy un tenant. Viviendo aquí más de 30 días.
Y yo no pago renta.
I was like, si usted me quiere sacar de aquí, usted tiene que ir a la corte de la vivienda. You know, she didn't know what to say. You know, that was like at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I remember when we used to walk Forest Hills Park. It was that early. And she just didn't even know what to say. She just left my room and she just went back to the room. She was like, I don't even know what to do with this bitch no more.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So, but all jokes aside, apologies are needed. They don't make you weak. If you're going to apologize,
mean it.
Mean it. Also, recognize that you might be apologizing for hurting somebody's feelings. You don't know what triggered them. Or if you know this person or this person is important to you, just know their triggers.
Yeah, and if you don't know people's triggers, just apologize.
Yeah.
But like, just mean it. That's my thing. Like,
just mean it.
Don't apologize to me if you don't mean it because I can see through that.
Yeah. And if you are a first gen like us,
God bless you.
We recognize
your pain,
your baggage. We recognize that we may have a narcissist parent, an emotionally unavailable parent, a parent that only thinks that they're correct all the time. And it's a lot of load to carry. So we're with you.
We are.
This one is with you.
We stand with you.
We stand with you.
If you guys want to do a march, I will leave my house to attend.
But other than that, like, if you guys want to interact about this, let me know. If this resonated with you, if this helps you, talk to us.
Yeah.
And please like, follow, and comment, and share with all your communities because we're here for each other. Have a great one, guys.
Thank you for listening to Spilling the Tea with Estee and Marlene.
Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe on your favorite platform. Bye, guys.